the honoree of the Berger Prize, I'd like William Berger to please stand. And now I would like all of you to commend all of the very distinguished graduates of the class for the award of attaining the Juris Doctor degree. And now it is customary to present the student speaker, and for me to issue the customary caveat, although I don't believe it's necessary this year, that this is a speaker selected by the students, and that is Mr. Stephen C. Carlin, class of 1985, to give the student oration.
Since you're going to be doing that, never mind. Dean Schwartz, distinguished guests, faculty members, classmates, families, and friends. There must be some misunderstanding here. I paid my tuition, but all I'm getting today is a diploma. The way law school commencement was explained to me, I'm supposed to find a Brooks Brothers charge card and keys to both a BMW and an Aspen condo in my diploma case. I don't know about all of you, but I just found out that mine is going to be empty, except for that piece of paper. Where are all the yuppie toys we were promised? Those promises, upon which we clearly relied to our detriment for the past 3 years, are the reasons we wanted to become lawyers, aren't they? If not, why do we want to be lawyers? Personally, I attended law school because the career opportunities in caddying are extremely limited. Other people, though, when first asked why they wanted to be lawyers, answered either, "I don't know," or "I have nothing better to do." In retrospect, many of those who at first said, "I don't know," can now be found to say simply, "I don't." And those who at first had nothing better to do have since found something better. What were they after that they didn't find here? Security. All professionals put themselves through the paces of graduate education to find it. Security is an ambiguous concept that can be described in many ways. Our parents told us that being a lawyer offered us job security. They would say, "Well, at least as a lawyer you have a profession. You can always start your own practice. You are guaranteed a job." Well, Mom and Dad, collectively, we've got some bad news. No one is guaranteed a job. Financial security does not follow, if I may borrow a much abused little Latin phrase, a fortiori upon graduation from law school. Rather, the battle for financial security has just begun as we struggle to pay off loans, start families, and settle down. An ugly scene, isn't it? Yet, who is better equipped to wage this campaign than the graduates here today? After all, this generation, in the words of the eminent philosopher Anheuser-Busch, can have it all. Quote, "We can be somebody and still be ourselves." Imagine our relief. So goes the wisdom of Madison Avenue. What bothers me is why the advertising moguls feel we need be reminded of this. I think I know why. We are at the tail end of the baby boom and have been told time and time again that there are too many of us for too few jobs. For those graduating today, this constant reminder has served to invigorate and challenge us to compete and excel. but it has also bred insecurity about our futures and ourselves. It is exactly this kind of insecurity which has taught us all here today the very fine and obscure art of guilt without sex. Right now, though, I ask you to aspire to be something more than financially secure, successful pillars of the legal community. And believe it or not, there is more to life than partnership at Cravath, Swain, and Moore. Monetary and career successes are only means to certain ends, the ends being happiness and fulfillment. Today, I ask you to become happy, secure people. Law school, through sheer brute force, has stripped us of many of the qualities which made us special to ourselves. The study of law teaches us to don blinders, to shut out the rest of the world while we direct all our energies towards the resolution of a given problem. This training comes at a high cost, however, the enjoyment of our many purely personal pursuits. Art Buchwald said, "It isn't the bad lawyers who are screwing up the justice system in this country, it's the good lawyers." If you have two competent lawyers on opposite sides, a trial that should take 3 days could easily last 6 months. So, the world may or may not have enough good lawyers, but the world can never have enough fine musicians. It can never have enough good creative writers. And certainly, it can never have enough good and caring parents and spouses like those here today. To be happy, secure people, our personal and professional lives must revolve around one another, each drawing upon the gravity of the other as a source of pride and strength. We must not allow our professional lives to eclipse our personal lives, or both will suffer. On this subject, Circuit Judge Patricia Wald said, "We sometimes need to restrain in our private lives the very talents that serve us so well in our professional lives. Trained as we are in the adversary process, we sometimes don't know when to lay off. So keep the law in its place as you make your place in the law." In his first Broadway appearance, actor Christopher Reeve starred opposite Ms. Katharine Hepburn. He was understandably nervous. He timidly approached Ms. Hepburn one day and asked her how he could possibly make an impression on the audience while she too was on stage. She answered simply, "Be fascinating." Confused, as you are now, he politely said thanks for the help and left. Certainly, we all can't be as fascinating as Ms. Hepburn, but nevertheless, that was her challenge for Christopher Reeve, and that's my challenge for everyone here today. Be fascinating, and begin that process by looking inward. I challenge you to make the extra time to practice the grand piano or the diminutive harmonica, to make the time to write a letter, a short story, or even a marginally humorous speech, to make the time to practice your behind-the-back double reverse slam dunk, to make the time to be the best parent or spouse that you can possibly be. In short, I challenge you to be interesting to others by first being interesting to yourselves. A favorite song says, "They say that these are not the best of times, but they're the only times I've ever known." These can be the very best of times if we realize that the pursuit of happiness begins in earnest when our personal and professional lives don't fight for our time, but rather complement each other equally and respectfully. Finally, a few well-deserved thank yous. First, I'd like to thank everyone connected with Boston University School of Law for providing us with the best legal training available. I'd like to thank my mother for giving me her spirit, which proved so vital in this struggle. I'd like to thank my father for showing me that moral courage and strength of character are not just empty cliches. And I'd especially like to thank my friends graduating today for making it all bearable. In conclusion, I'd like to offer everyone assembled here a couple of toasts that come from an old bartender's manual. And they go something like this. May the happiest days of our past be the saddest days of our future. And keep passing the open windows. Thank you very much.
I now call upon Mr. James Schrager, Permanent Class President, Class of 1985, to come to the podium. Mr. Schrager.
Dean Schwartz, it is my pleasure and privilege to present the Class of 1985 for the awarding of degrees.